In the heart of Nigeria, there were two mighty kingdoms, Umuaro and Oguta. Umuaro was known for its wise King Chinedu, who ruled with kindness and fairness. The people of Umuaro lived in peace, farming the fertile lands and enjoying the fruits of their labor. Oguta, on the other hand, was ruled by King Obinna, a strong and brave leader, but with a heart that often leaned towards greed and ambition. The two kingdoms shared a long border and had always maintained a fragile peace, but things were about to change. One hot afternoon, a mysterious event occurred that would spark the beginning of a great conflict. A group of Umuaro farmers working close to the border discovered a sacred stone hidden beneath the roots of a large Iroko tree. The stone glowed with a strange light and was engraved with ancient symbols. The elders of Umuaro believed the stone was a gift from the gods, a symbol of protection and prosperity. They decided to place the stone in the heart of the kingdom, in the center of the market square, so that all could see it and be reminded of the gods' favor. But news of the discovery soon reached King Obinna in Oguta. He was filled with envy and suspicion. Why should Umuaro be blessed with such a powerful stone, he thought. If I had that stone, Oguta would be the greatest kingdom in all the land. King Obinna summoned his advisors and warriors, planning how to take the stone for himself. Late one night, a group of Oguta warriors, disguised as travelers, entered Umuaro. They sneaked into the market square and attempted to steal the sacred stone. But as they touched the stone, a loud thunderclap echoed across the land, waking the people of Umuaro. The warriors tried to flee, but they were caught by the brave men of Umuaro and brought before King Chinedu. King Chinedu was furious. "This is an act of war," he declared. The people of Umuaro were filled with anger and demanded justice. The captured warriors confessed that they were sent by King Obinna, which only deepened the anger. However, King Chinedu, being a wise ruler, decided to send a message to King Obinna instead of immediately declaring war. He hoped to avoid bloodshed and sought a peaceful resolution. The messenger was sent with a stern warning: if Oguta ever attempted to steal from Umuaro again, they would face the full wrath of their warriors. But King Obinna did not heed the warning. Instead, he saw King Chinedu's restraint as a sign of weakness. He began to prepare his kingdom for war, gathering his strongest warriors and forming alliances with nearby villages that were envious of Umuaro's prosperity. Days turned into weeks, and tensions between the two kingdoms grew. The people of Umuaro lived in constant fear of an attack, while the people of Oguta were filled with excitement, eager to conquer their neighbors and claim the sacred stone. The air was thick with the smell of impending conflict. As the two kingdoms prepared for battle, a young girl named Adaeze from Umuaro began having strange dreams. In her dreams, she saw a river of blood flowing between the two kingdoms and a mysterious figure standing on a hill, watching the chaos. She also saw the sacred stone cracking and crumbling into dust. Adaeze, though young, knew these dreams were a warning from the gods. Frightened, Adaeze went to the elders of her village and told them of her dreams. The elders were troubled and brought her before King Chinedu. After hearing her story, the king was deeply concerned. He knew that the gods were trying to send a message, but he could not understand what it meant. Meanwhile, in Oguta, a similar event was unfolding. A young boy named Namdi, who lived near the palace, began to hear voices in the wind. The voices warned him of a great disaster that would befall both kingdoms if they went to war. Namdi was scared and confused, but he felt compelled to share what he had with King Obinna. However, when he approached the palace, the guards laughed at him and refused to let him in. Determined, Namdi snuck into the palace at night and found his way to the king's chambers. There, he bravely told King Obinna about the voices in the wind. The king, who was already consumed with the thought of war, dismissed the boy's warnings as mere nonsense. But deep inside, a seed of doubt was planted. The day of battle finally arrived. The armies of Umuaro and Oguta faced each other on the battlefield, a wide plain between their kingdoms. The sky was dark, and the air was heavy with tension. As King Chinedu and King Obinna rode out to meet in the middle, the ground beneath them began to tremble. Suddenly, the sacred stone in Umuaro's market square began to glow brightly, sending a beam of light shooting into the sky. Both kings paused, and for a moment, the entire battlefield was silent. Then, the earth shook violently, and a crack opened up between the two armies. The ground split apart, and from the depths rose a figure shrouded in mist. It was the figure from Adaeze's dreams, the one Namdi had heard in the wind. The figure spoke with a voice that echoed across the land, "You foolish kings, blinded by pride and greed. The gods are angry with you both. This war will bring nothing but death and sorrow to your people. If you do not stop now, both your kingdoms will be destroyed." The kings, stunned and terrified, did not know what to do. The figure continued, "Return to your homes and seek peace. The sacred stone is not yours to possess. It belongs to the land, and the land will not tolerate your foolishness any longer." With that, the figure vanished, leaving the two kings to ponder its words. The armies, shaken and fearful, waited for their leader's commands. King Chinedu, his heart heavy with guilt, turned his horse around and rode back to his kingdom, signaling his troops to follow. King Obinna, still burning with ambition, hesitated. But seeing the fear in his soldiers' eyes and remembering Namdi's warnings, he too retreated. The battle that was supposed to bring glory to Oguta and destruction to Umuaro never happened. Instead, both kingdoms returned to their homes, unsure of what the future held. The sacred stone, once a symbol of hope, now stood as a reminder of the gods' warning. Back in Umuaro, Adaeze's dreams continued, showing her visions of a new danger that threatened not just Umuaro and Oguta, but the entire land. In Oguta, Namdi began hearing the voices again, this time speaking of a hidden power deep within the earth, a power that could either save or destroy them all. And so, the story of the two kingdoms was far from over. The true battle was yet to come, a battle that would test the strength, wisdom, and courage of all who lived in the land. But for now, the people of Umuaro and Oguta could only wait, holding their breath as they wondered what the future would bring.